to this computer. Hello and welcome. I'm Mike Manrod and I'm here with Ezra Woods, and we're going to be talking about our demo supporting our DEF CON 32 presentation at DEF CON Demo Labs. If you're not there in person this year, definitely check out Demo Labs. It is literally my favorite part of DEF CON. It's awesome, and we're humbled and appreciative to have the chance to present this and share this with you. So our project is a project called BypassIT, which is a framework that we put together for covert malware delivery and post-exploitation using AutoIT and AutoHotkey, although at the moment it's mostly just AutoIT. And if you look at the project, we intend this to be a community project that can benefit all. So if you look at it and you're like, oh, I could code that better, we'll definitely do so. It's a first iteration. But this all started when Ezra started reversing a sample of Darkgate malware and noticed the use of AutoIT to deliver their payload was quite evasive. So we started talking about it. Like, gosh, what else can this do? So we engaged with several of our closest friends that I won't necessarily call out with each step of this, but our key contributors here that we really especially want to thank are our friends Colston, Christian, Cyrus, Jim, Cameron, and then obviously you've got us here presenting on behalf of everybody really who's been a part of this. We also have built upon a lot of great research put out there by V1V1. Hasn't been updated in a while, but they put out some tools that inspired us with some ideas. And then also Oxtoxin has put together some outstanding tools for reversing Darkgate and AutoIT and similar things, right? So definitely appreciative to those who've put this forth, but the idea of this project is to be one that's living and evolving. And our primary thought process on this is this is a very evasive technique. AutoIT, if you're not familiar, is a just-in-time compiler and scripting language that can be bundled together that has a tremendous number of very robust hooks into Windows API. And it can be a script, it can be an executable, and if you compile the executable from an AutoIT script using their interpreter, it includes basically all Windows imports available to it that makes it very, very evasive. So we're going to do some basic demos, but again, we hope everybody contributes to this. And then ultimately, we hope to archive this project because what we really hope for is the root cause of this to go away. So there's our cheesy AI generated requisite AutoIT logo that we made. And what we have here is we have a Windows 10 host, really fresh build, Defenders enabled, just exactly as I downloaded it literally today and set up a fresh one to make sure I wasn't missing any mitigations that were there. We've also tested some of the things here with very popular AV and EDR vendors that I won't name. We certainly haven't tested every piece with every vendor, but our conclusion is that this is much more evasive than it really should be. So we're going to do a few demos. We have a basic TCP listener that's also part of the project that is currently listening. And we've got kind of a cheesy GUI there, but it shows the host is offline from our previous test. And the very first thing we're going to do is activate this, covert delivery reverse TCP shell that we're just going to run. And you could run it as either an executable or as an AutoIT script. In this case, we'll run it as an AutoIT script, probably simulating that it would be maybe embedded in another file type or hidden with some sort of phishing hybrid social engineering type scenario. But there's probably other ways that you could get it to run too, not just this, right? But we're assuming at this point that the file's been delivered and run as the beginning point here. So We're going to go ahead and run it. And you can tell it's a brand new Windows host successfully connected. And then we're going to go over and we can see now our host is online and we're getting telemetry. Now we can send commands from here. We could upload a file, and this is probably where we would upload just a zip file of all the tools or exploits either available or that we want to use. I would suggest just the ones you want to use. But we can run commands from here. So like we'll just launch calc.exe to show that we've got the ability to run commands on the host if I can type today. And we can see it's scheduled here. We'll click over and calc launches. Obviously, this could be your C2 beacon with Cobalt Strike or whatever else you wanted it to be. In this case, for brevity, we're just showing calc. So as you can see, we've got we kind of oriented this loosely to MITRE ATT&CK. Again, we welcome the community. The few of us contributing to this project certainly couldn't develop everything, but we've got some fun ones, right? Like we've got a discover basic host recon script that we can run that will output basically system info and ARP. I thought ARP was fun because it tells you, basically what networks you're on, allows you to stage a lot of your kind of like lateral movement type stuff. We've got one that discovers, files with PII, and I always open output too soon. Let's see if I opened it too soon again. We've got one that scans for secrets. Now you'll notice it does have some false positives in here that we could probably clean up the regex a bit. And again, I keep jumping the gun and opening the output file too soon. But what do you do when you mess something up? Just click it faster and it'll be good, right? I need to wait a little longer. It's crawling a lot of files here. There you go. So, oh, I figured out the issue. We had a test file, and when I got to our impact phase, which you'll see soon, it destroyed everything, and I didn't recreate our output file. So it's only showing the false positives. But I didn't have our test files in our test files with fake PII and fake secrets. So you don't get to see the fake social of Bozo the Clown or the password of Jojo the Coconut. But it will basically search using regex and return those and output them to the file. I will not bore you with the tedious trouble of going through and recreating dummy data, but you saw that it at least worked on our false positives. So we'll work to clean up the regex on that. This is one of my favorites. It's kind of a well-known, I think, EDR evasion technique that if you get to the point where you can do this, if you know where the EDR is reporting its telemetry to, one of the most popular tactics right now is to blind EDR or antivirus, at least from a detection and response perspective, by creating a host file entry to sinkhole that traffic. So we have a very simple AutoIt script that will sinkhole in this case, we're using example.com. So we're going to right click here. This one does have to be compiled to an executable, and you have to run as administrator. And we'll get to this in a moment, but privilege escalation is definitely a weakness of the project. And here we've now written a host file entry to sinkhole the traffic for example.com. So now if we go and ping example.com, you can see we're getting very fast responses, and there's no place like home because example.com is replying from our loopback address. So, and it'd be the same thing if we were to go through a browser. Privilege escalation, what we suggest here for pen testers and red teamers at this point is to take whatever popular CVE of the day, because these are very perishable and they come in and go out fast. but just take it and port the exploit code over to AutoIt. We really probably in a perfect world would have done that, but we just didn't get time. So please do this, test it, and definitely do a pull request and contribute to the project here with some good privilege escalation. Persistence. Here we can add one. We've got a couple. Our buddy Colston contributed an auto hotkey, and we've got one here to persist via scheduled task. So I think I probably had to compile this one and run as administrator, but we'll see. Access is denied. So we will now, this is another consequence of reverting our snapshot, but we will run as administrator. And again, definitely need a privilege escalation for some of this to be elegant, but you can see I'm not going to wait 24 hours on this to show calc.exe popping up in 24 hours, but obviously calc.exe would be your beacon, or maybe even just the same shell script we just demo, the TCP listener and reverse shell, just respawning every 24 hours so that it survives reboot. That would be primitive and basic, but again, for pen testing, our goal is not really to make tools for the adversary. Our goal here is to make things that elegantly demonstrate the functionality in a way that help us find our weaknesses, improve our products, and better defend for purple teamers and red teamers. But let's see, lateral movement. You could definitely do like an RDP connection natively in AutoIt. I was working on an SSH one as well and made it, but didn't get a chance to test it, so it's not out here yet. But we've got to download and install program one. This one definitely needs to be, I believe this one was a run as administrator one, but in this case, it's going to download and install PuTTY. So obviously, PuTTY could be substituted for other things that you wanted to run, download, and install as well. I think that might have actually worked without compiling, but again, feel free to play with it and improve it. I will say that this download and install script will not work with something really advanced. Like I tried it with Nmap, and obviously Nmap takes you through a dozen prompts and setup, and we haven't made it that smart yet. But you can, you could get it there. So the C2 is just basically beacons that did what our covert delivery would do. But saving the best for last here, our friend Christian created, we actually had a file encryptor that was pretty primitive. And our buddy Christian created one that's actually quite a bit better here that we are going to go ahead and run. And Defender is running. This is a new latest build, Windows 10. And it's going to just proceed through and encrypt all of the files and documents, which you see has already happened. And then, of course, it's using a randomly generated password. And we have a script to decrypt as well. But as you can see, for a little bit of demo humor there, we encrypted our decrypt script. So if we wanted to, we could go in and pull that and decrypt all this. Because again, the idea here is to test and to figure out what our tools catch, where our visibility weaknesses and issues are. Our intention here, obviously, is to build good tests, but not weapons. So that's it. That's our demo. Anything you want to add, Ezra?
No, I think that was great.
So thank you so much for joining us, and very, very excited about the project and appreciate your time and attention and bearing with our bad jokes here.